All right, so moving on now from YouTube, let's go to Netflix for a bit. Let's talk about Castlevania. But before we begin, Ricardo, if you do mind, I just want you to do the synopsis for this season here, right? So, just a little intro to let you all know. This is actually the final season of the series here. We've actually covered all three seasons when they came out from since 2017 up to now, and the thing is with me, right? Like we enjoy the first season, right? And okay, so this is coming from someone who has not played the Castlevania games at all. Like I'm familiar with them, I just never played them, right? And to me, this was like a huge step up in terms of, video game material, right? We've never really seen stuff like this adapted in such a great way, especially for the North American market, basically, right? Because yes, technically this is an anime, but it's an American product, basically, right? Yeah. So as short as the first season was, because only like 4 episodes, we were like really entertained and just yeah, we just thoroughly enjoy what we got here. Season two, we just delivered on the goods, though. We totally enjoyed that. Three was one that I had a few issues with, especially to the pacing and whatnot. And then of course with the decision of just killing Dracula in the end of season two, right? But what I did though is that I actually recapped season three and two, actually, in preparation for this one here. And honestly, I've warmed up a lot more to this season, to that season, to be honest. What it does very well though, it just kind of shows like, all right, like, okay, Dracula was like the be all end all, and it was all about him. But now that he's
Right.
gone, what do we do
We're
next,
gonna
right?
do
That
right.
that's
Yeah.
basically what the theme of the season was. What do we do next, right? You saw it with Hector, with Isaac, right? The Forge Masters. You saw it even with Trevor and Cipher. Like, where do we go next? We happen to go into this town, and we have this group of monks who worship in this night creature, and it's all weird and shit. Okay, and they actually introduced like these new characters. Well, actually, it's actually Carmilla actually was introduced in season two. She was one of the antagonists. This mean vampire, basically,
Right.
and they actually see like her sisters, her three sisters, basically. And there's like a lot of time just more focusing on the characters and where they're going, basically, just right after Dracula's death, right? But I would understand for some people why they probably wouldn't like it because of the pacing of it. But for me, it just kind of grew on me. And last thing I'll say before we jump into season four here, um, my one criticism that I had with the show from the jump was, and we always kind of compare it to Game of Thrones, is this sort of bleak outlook on the world and life, right? But you
Yeah.
do it from this medieval lens. So, it's, yes, it's a period piece, but yeah, we have to talk about the plague and famine and,
Right.
religion and just all these things. And, it's these characters is kind of seeing you like, oh well, it's every man for himself, and the second I read, like, I get what I want from you, I'm gonna stab you in your back or stab you or whatever it is. I know it's just that kind of vibe, man. It's kind of one of those things where I was like, all right, but for an animated show based on a video game, Dre, like, you really had to go this deep though. But
Right.
to be fair, before I shut up here, it did eventually grow on me. Like, I did really start to understand it a lot more, and mainly it's because of the characterization. And this is where, to me, this whole show, this whole series excels in characters. Like, you're not supposed to love everyone, in the show, but at least they give you enough moments, and especially conversations. Because that's what they nail. They nail the conversations. They nail the dialogue. This is some very, very well
Yeah.
written stuff. I would admit, like, shockingly well written.
Yeah.
And you get where each character is coming from. They could be the most selfish person out there. They could be the biggest asshole, wherever it is. They could be the most jaded individual in the world. And yet, there's logic. There's a working logic to why they do what they do, the decisions, and all that kind of stuff. And most importantly, and this is what we're going to get into with season four here, room for change. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
always life coming in and kind of changing their life, and it's how they deal with that change. And that, to me, is yeah, one of the biggest strengths of this whole series, man. So
Yeah.
before you get to season four, just thoughts on season 1 to 3, just how you felt about the show up to this point here.
Oh, yeah, I generally defend this as overall it's great for me. Never had any major issues with it. Going into it. It's solid from start to finish for me. Never really had a big any major gripes or anything like that about it. Just solid storytelling, solid world building. Can't be mad at any of it, to be honest. I was always like a fan of it from the start. I always liked them.
All
Right.
right, cool,
Yeah,
cool, cool.
yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, just take it away. What is well, of course, we had to kind of spoil stuff from season 3, right? Because why not, right? I mean, we probably will do minor spoilers for the season here, but yeah, take it away. What season 4 is about?
Yeah, so they pick back up from three with the whole what is called by with we call him Isaac and his whole bag.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
follow.
Isaac basically having this whole army of night creatures, because
Right.
yeah, he has the ability to basically kill people with this knife and use this mystic powers basically to revive demons from hell and
Right.
basically put them into human bodies and turn them into night creatures. So right now he has like a massive
He's on a,
army right now. Yeah.
yeah, he on a mission, and then another. Well, the ultimate end goal was to bring back Dracula himself. Right. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. And then we follow what do you call it, Belmont, Trevor
Yeah.
Belmont,
Yeah, Trevor Belmont. Yeah.
and I forget the girl name, but the
Cypher. Cypher.
Cypher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sorceress. And yeah, so basically that's it. She
Yeah.
uh
This sorry to cut you there, but to touch on those two, I love how they introduce here basically where it's like, yeah, because right after the events of season 2, basically night creatures are all over the place, right? So
yeah.
they kind of enjoy, killing them now. But I love how this season opens where it's like, you know what, we just tired of this.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just everything we just doing this. We're done. I love that. Yeah.
Right. They kind of just going from moment to moment, and they keep talking about being too reactive to it. And then the vampires, they have a whole arc involving conquest and power and what to
Mm-hmm.
do with all of that. And yeah, that's it. It just kind of come together. Everything kind of come full circle and come together with this final thing. I would say,
Yeah, and we forgetting one of the main characters, man. Alucard himself.
right.
The
Well,
well,
he
the
was he was
Dampier,
more
be the half vampire, half human
yeah
son of Dracula, right?
he was more reactive than anything. I didn't think he had like an arc per se this time. But we'll talk about that.
I think he does, but we'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this, here's the only problem I have with this. This being the final season, a lot of things thematically and character-wise still feels really incomplete. I didn't think this was the final season. Like, this is the final season, boy? Really? Okay.
All right. Well,
But
I think there's a reason why for it. Maybe you could, all right, because I didn't even know about this till literally going into season 4. Apparently, there was some kind of chicanery going on with the creator himself, Warren Ellis.
I have no idea.
Some kind of, well, I read it off of Wikipedia here. Some sexual coercion allegations, basically, like a whole bunch
Okay,
of women came out against it, right? So
right.
how
Okay,
I read this season was like, okay, well, we kind of have to end this, but this is the guy who he's the
yeah,
guy who
like
pretty much make the show the way it is. So
right.
we
So
kind of have to have him end it so we could bring in someone new. But in this case, what they say, fortunately, is that we'll get a spin-off now. So I feel it was just like, okay, we just had
okay,
to kind of kick he to the curb
right.
nicely, have
I
him end his arc basically. But I would say kind of rush things, unfortunately. But
right.
you know,
I
yeah,
can I didn't get that from this because well I don't know because people didn't have a meltdown. I probably missed the Twitter meltdown, right?
yeah.
Uh, So yeah, I don't know, but whatever. So apart, well, if that's the case, then all right. Well, that makes sense. Um, the thing is, it's right. So as I say, if that was the case, then it's that is what it is. It come and gone, and that is pretty much the end for what it is. I really enjoyed this season as well. Action on point, really damn good. Storytelling and the introspection of the characters really good as well. We just got a lot of good speeches and a lot of good conversations and action and talking, and it kept my attention. That's the main point. That is the main point. And that is it. I really enjoyed the season for what it was, but I wish we had more, especially involving Dracula and thing. And the way how they end it is like, all right, when we get more in the future, I ain't sure what's going on. So I don't know.
All right. Well. To answer the question again, I do think that we will. No, sorry. Screw that. We should get more. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We should get more of this, right? And I think that the creators behind this knew this, so that's why they were talking about spin-offs, not the possibility of a spin-off, but like, yo, we're gonna get a spin-off. Or I think that what they say basically was that there's so much room for more stories out of this Castlevania universe, and I totally agree. So where things stop off, I was totally satisfied. I would say just arguably that this was my favorite season of this whole series, hands down. Um, you're right though, it is the action. The action stepped the fuck up. Oh
Yeah,
my god. Like, like, okay, like first three seasons, like, you'll get your action here or there, but it's all about the characters and the build up and why they're gonna fight, right? But in this one, you get that, but I would say out of this whole 10 episode run, I think like only one episode or one or two doesn't really have any action, right? Or
right.
one is just like more build up, and two is the aftermath, right? Which again, two, that's the final episode, right? But all the other episodes is action, and the action is so well done. I was talking with a friend about this recently, right? The art style of it, right? Which I don't know how to describe it, but like the first time I saw it literally was off of Naruto Shippuden, right?
Right.
Long time ago, right? And it's sort of this quick sped up. It's not really sped up, but it's the way how everything kind of feels like the artist, sorry, like the honestly, the artwork itself feels a lot smoother, a lot simpler, like, drawn and whatnot. And it just allows for so much, great fight scenes and action sequences and whatnot. So literally you could see, just like a one take of just like a character, just slicing characters up. And it doesn't look like they skip frames or anything like that. I'm not
Yeah,
sure what the style is. I don't know if it's like a specific team that's brought in to do it, or if it's just the team itself who does
right.
it. But I thought that just this little observation, okay, you do see it, right? Because yeah, you will see like a slight difference from normal sequences to action sequences, right? But
Right.
it's one of those things you gotta
Yeah, I don't
really
know.
pick
I
up
don't know.
on.
Yeah, I don't know who's the team who did this. I just assume is, well, every time I think I see something on this kind of style, I always assume is UFO table or whoever.
Right.
Um, whoever. I mean, I really don't know. 'Cause I didn't do any research on this one. I just watched it, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But other than that, though, the action scenes were phenomenal. And what made it work too is that they really felt like they came out of the video game. The way how Trevor moves, the way how Cypher moves, Alucard. There's a great sequence in the second to last episode though, which was like so like, if you're a fan of the show, boy, this is like the Avengers Endgame moment where the heroes team up and basically just go after this group of this night creature after night creature, and it is amazing. I loved it, right? Yeah, the fight scenes were stepped up. This is easily the bloodiest season of this show. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they do a whole lot for it though. Like
No, they,
characters
they
get
get
sliced and diced in so much ways though, and it's just so fun to watch. Huh?
no, yeah, they get the well, like about the fight. The fight was always kind of clever, and I think when this time they really get clever with the fight in terms of what powers could do what and how. You get to see what you call she the girl do all these real cool elemental spells and mix
Cypher.
and
Like
match.
for me,
Yeah, like,
every season,
yeah,
like ever since she came in from season one, with
yeah,
every season, right, she's get more and more badass. But
yeah.
like the stuff that she's doing, the combos that she's doing ice and fire. I'm like, what? What? You can do this? It's just amazing. This just mind boggling in my opinion. So yeah,
Right.
folks. If you're a fan of the game, and if you're a fan of the show itself, yeah, you will love the action in this. But what I also love about the season here is that they don't compromise for the characterization and the storytelling and all that. And I think this is, yeah, where they shine here. Story wise, it isn't the greatest thing out there, although the main villain in this case, well, for without spoiling it, it's a vampire by the name of Vani,
Yeah,
who's played by my boy Malcolm McDowell. As soon as I
yeah.
hear
They
the
get
voice, I
they
was like,
get
yeah,
big voice
Malcolm
actors for
McDowell,
this.
like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that my boy, what I mean, Alex Alat from Clockwork Orange again. What? I mean, and I love his character in this too. He was just so crass. He just like I love that they have this joke, right? So it's him and this other guy, Ratko, right? This more brutish vampire guy. And like every time Racco was calling about his bullshit, Vadi was coming, do you know who I am? I am Vadi of da, 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 da. All that kind of stuff. It was just hilarious. And there's actually like a reveal as to who he really is, but I'll leave that up to you all to see. But
Yeah.
I thought that as a villain, it was he was he was great. And then the reveal catch me completely by surprise. Um, and well, I guess me telling you guys that there's a reveal, I guess you'll be looking out for it. But I'm not gonna say who he really is. But yeah, when that dropped, I was like, oh, okay. And that really was like, oh, well, this is like the big boss, basically. 'Cause remember, we're taking
Yeah.
video game stuff here. Yeah, as far as our boss, though, like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and you
No,
could
but
tell that Trevor really went to
it
his
is
way
a
to
famous
stop it.
Castlevania boss. That's the thing. It
Okay,
is
okay, well,
yeah, in the game
no, no.
it's a popular Castlevania boss. So it's like, yeah, that is the callback. As I said, it has so much in the Castlevania lore and material to do. So, but when you tell me that all that stuff involving Warren and this kind of play out and fall through, I was like, okay, well, they could do it, but they could still do more going forward because
Yeah.
it like one of my favorite characters in the Castlevania franchise is Soma, if you know who that is. And we kind of got a hint at that character, kind of slight hint in last season, involving what the infinite corridor is capable of. And I was like, oh, since this infinite corridor thing is a thing, they could do
Right.
this, that, the other. But then they do it for another purpose this time, and I still liked it. Like, and in the ending, I like what they do involved with the ending, which was
Yeah.
interesting and weird. But I wish I would have liked to see that play out instead of what happened. Like,
Right. Right. Yeah.
that would have been really
Well,
fascinating.
speaking. Yes. Well, speaking of the Infinity Corridor, Saint Germain, shows back up, played by
Right,
my
right.
boy, Bill Nye, right?
Yeah,
And at first, I was on the fence of what they did with his character, but because it tied back to what he was there in season 3 in the first place, it worked, right? And it just kind of brings back the whole point of characters and change and all that kind of stuff, which I'll bring up in the end, right? But yeah, there's a few subplots here or there. There's one involving the same town where Lisa, that would be Dracula's wife, sorry, was burnt at the stake basically. And there's like this underground society or whatever it is.
right,
Like
right.
I
Yeah,
felt they could have done a little bit more there, but I like the reveal or like what all that was about basically. But I felt we could have gotten more with that. Also, with Alucard himself, right? And in terms of like we were talking about he didn't really have much of a story arc, right? What I felt like what it was throughout all this was him kind of two things. One, not being his dad, and also like trusting humans, right? Because remember his dad kind of went out his way to trust Lisa. That's eventually how they fell in love and all that kind of stuff, right? And had him in the first place, right? But him, was just like, well, because in season 3, and this was one of the things that I was a little turned off. But like when I watch it again, I was like, oh, now again with the Japanese brother and sister, the siblings, and how they ended up betraying him after all this stuff done. And the thing is, it really did come off as selfish. Like, you didn't show us how to make the castle move, and you didn't show us all your tricks. So let's seduce you and try to kill you because we just don't trust anybody. Like I felt they could have delved a little bit deeper into it instead of just coming. It just came off a little selfish and dumb in my opinion. But I understand, right? Given what they went through, and yeah, you know what I mean. Just him like just not trusting anybody. So I do like the fact that hey, you know what I mean. Somebody wants him to rid this town of these night creatures, and eventually he meet this admittedly really attractive woman. I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, you know what I mean, cool. You know what I mean, so there's hope for you, right? I just like how that plays out as well, right? And
yeah,
well, we brought up Dracula as well too. Yeah, not gonna see how he comes back in his story, but how he comes back in his story was really cool as well. And what I just want to say though, well, all right, so
what it
go on.
was going what the well main antagonist was going to do, I felt would have been more interesting. Like if that was a thing for a little while, I wish we at least got one episode with that. Because I thought that was really fascinating. I wonder what the hell I was going with that. Because that would have been really weird and fucked up if they did it.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah. I know you talk about. We're not gonna spoil it,
right,
but we know you talk about.
right. But yeah, I thought we was going to get something like that. No.
Yeah, yeah,
But they didn't do that, and I was like, okay, whatever. But we get the final fight. It's like, cool. That was kind of cool, and that was about it.
yeah.
I don't know. It still felt a little anticlimactic. I didn't hate it. It
Right.
was still
No,
really
no,
good.
I understand. Yeah.
Right.
I will say it does really feel, you know what I mean, like some other shows that have been cancelled that okay, now we have to get to the point, so let's kind of rush things because it does feel like admittedly like you kind of take two seasons and kind of smush them into one, but because of the pacing of it, which I actually was impressed by, it could pick up at other times though, but it still didn't take me out of the show, right?
Right.
I dug where Isaac's arc ended. What I would say though, it involves Camilla. There's a fight between the two, which was kick-ass. I love how it ended. That's all I'll
Yeah.
say. Hector's arc, I like how that came to an end as well. And it's just basically arcs either coming to an end or just stopping at a particular point because of some realization, right? And that to me is what made this season work and this whole series work as well, right? Um, because yeah, I mean, as I said before, it kind of just presents the world as just this dark place, and people die and all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, which is true of life, right? And people, in this world kind of come off as jaded, or what I mean, like just narcissistic because it's the world and all kind of stuff. But to me, the heart of the show is just really how they deal with it, and just life happens, change happens, and they kind of learn something from it and move on. So for me, I kind of see this more of sort of like apocalyptic, in the genre of like apocalyptic fiction as opposed to just dark gothic, stuff that like it's that, but I more see it like more like apocalyptic stuff that like yes, all this dark crazy stuff gonna happen, but eventually you had to kind of move on. You had to kind of like live your life or deal with it somehow, right? For better or for worse. Which kind of leads me to something that caught me completely by surprise now. Um, that final episode though. So we're
Yeah.
not gonna see everything that happens it though, but what I will see, just minor spoiler, it ends on a shockingly optimistic note though.
That's what I'm saying.
And I,
I
I,
find the way
I,
how they
I
end. And when people tell me this is the last season, I was like, well, the way how this end is like we could get more content. And
no, I
it's
know,
one of yeah.
which is great. And I love that. I love the fact that
Yeah.
it still leaves it open that we can get more of it.
Right.
But for me though, I was just so shocked that uh, like just throw this right away get Dread. You know what I mean? There's all this dark emotional stuff that happens, and then it just ends on this emotional, like just this optimistic note, and it doesn't feel forced at all, which I was worried about.
Right.
It
Right.
feels genuine. It feels earned. When I was like, I love this.
Right.
I just just emotional wise, I felt like I was just through this journey, Jen, and this is like the sun just finally coming through, Jen, and this is where characters are right now. We you know what I mean, and it feels genuine. Where everybody stops off at, you're just like, yeah, like this is how it's supposed to be, you know what I mean? So yeah, hands down, yeah, this is a very satisfying conclusion to this series. I mean, yes, we could have gotten more. I mean, honestly, we could have gotten more with this, story here. But when it stopped it off, that I was surprised at how, just bright it was. I mean, like it literally just caught me by surprise. And yeah, I loved it. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
made me
Yeah.
love the
Yeah.
season a lot more. So just want to get it rated out of the way before we get to like the quick thoughts on the overall season. I'm gonna give this a very light 4.5 out of 5, man.
Right.
Yes, you could tell that they had to kind of rush things to end
Right.
the show, and maybe it is about Warren Ellis, but I had to like look up and really see if it's accurate.
I really like I missed that completely. Like I
Yeah,
missed that like Twitter trend and people having a meltdown over this. So I didn't know. It's like it probably came and went and I don't know because nobody talked about it or it passed through my radar. But to be honest, and therefore really like I don't go on forums or anything like that for shows like this because I'm not like a super big fan of this stuff, right? It just
kind of me.
really,
Yeah.
right. It's just really well made. But I don't want not so much I don't want to I want to talk about it or I'll have a big comment thread, be part of some big comment thread, like say with Falcon and Winter Soldier or Wonder Vision or something like that, right? Where right after the episode, I have to talk about it.
Yeah,
Nah,
like
all right.
no, like it's not like oh there was like these Easter. Well, okay, well then again, okay, I haven't played the games. It's not like oh there was some Easter egg in this episode, and this is what it's leading up to. It's like well, no, I just want to see what happens next, though. So okay, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if it's exactly that is the reason why with Warren is the reason why this series wrapped up, but
Right.
I thought that it wrapped up Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but just satisfactory dread on all fronts. Where the characters and just the realizations where everybody stops at. You know what I mean? The lessons that they learned, the journey that they went through. The action, like we said, it just kick ass from start to end. Storytelling is great. Dialogue is
Yeah,
superbly written
yeah,
as it has been throughout the series here. Conversations great as well. Animation solid. Sound design solid as well. Music great as well.
yep,
So yeah, yes, we could have gotten more, and just keeping we fingers crossed that we do get a spin-off of this, because I know fans just gonna come out and be like, dude, give me a spin-off now, please give me a spin-off. Like you can't just, like, the people behind the scenes can't just stop and be like, yeah, we done, what I mean, on to the next project. No, give us more Castlevania shit, please. But yeah, if you've been a fan from the one, you're gonna love this season. And I would say, if you haven't checked out the series, yeah, give it a look. But believe you me, when you reach season 4, boy, you will have little to no complaints, man.
yep.
Final thoughts and rating on this season before we get to the overall show.
Yeah, I get it's like an 8 out of 10. It only held back because the stuff just didn't feel just complete, but because it's just, oh, this character needs to wrap up, like that whole stuff with Hector, not Hector, shit,
Isaac,
the other
yeah,
no, the other forger, not who's the other forger, Hector, right?
yeah, no,
Hector.
yeah. Well, you talk about, are you talking about Isaac or Hector?
No, the Black Forger is Isaac, right?
Isaac, yeah. Oh,
Who's the
one
one?
side to
Who's the
cut
one?
this. Right, that'll be Hector. Speaking of
Right,
Isaac, right?
right.
Slight spoiler. I sense that there's going to be a lot more with this guy going forward.
Exactly.
Because I'm
Yeah,
sorry, you
you
have
could do so
this
much with
big
it.
ass army of night creatures. You can't just stop where you're at, bro. No.
But even all the vampire sisters, right? Because one vampire sister, she dead, but then the other one commits suicide. Like, what? Okay. And then the
but
other two.
but to be fair, okay, so they kind of give a logical reason why.
No, no,
This is one thing I
I
like
get,
about the show. Like you
I
don't have
get all of
to
that,
like agree with what they do, but you kind of get. It's like that.
No, no, I get all of that, But what's in I get all of that, but what's saying is that they just leave a certain thing open, a real thing open, and then to tell me this is the last season, boy. Wait, boy.
I
That's the
know.
only
I do.
that's the only
Yeah,
missing.
I got
But
you.
other than that, I really enjoyed it for what it was. I really hope we get more content from this universe. I have no problem getting a couple more seasons from this. Um, but when you tell me that all of that stuff involved in Warner Brothers was flaring up, then I realized, all right, that might be the case, and as I kind of mad, but it's understandable. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for what it was. I thought it was great. Fight set pieces, dialogue, everything across the board was great. Alucard, he had a decent enough arc, but I felt he was more, you know, reacting than doing anything per se in terms of the story. But whatever, it's fine. I dug the hell out of it. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Right. So as a whole, in terms of this series here, like shocking enough, right? And I guess it's just, just kind of rewatching it, and just kind of not taking in not taking seriously the bleak outlook on life, and just kind of seeing the characters and what they do and why they do it. I just kind of grew to love this show, though. This is just me recapping it, in time for season 4. So
Right.
yeah, this is one of my favorite shows. One of my favorite. I would put this in the camp of anime right now. Yeah, this
Right.
is like hands on one of the best anime like I've seen in a long while. Right.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
coming from somebody who doesn't even seek out a lot of anime. And I know there's a lot of great ones, but I just don't seek them out like some people do, right? But yeah, though, where the show really shines though is just the characterization. And what we forgot to mention too, voice acting. Near perfect in my opinion. The cast that they choose for this, just the voices that they put in. Um, it's very like, we must talk like this. You know what I mean? Like, it's always on the dramatic
Yeah,
side
it's
of things, but it works.
a little overly dramatic, a little mellow,
Yeah,
a little
yeah, like
melodramatic.
everybody must talk like this
Yeah,
because
everybody
this
all
is how the
serious business.
world is. And
Especially when Hector the girl was talking when the barber.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
especially when two of them was together. But it's still
Yeah,
good.
it's
It's still
almost
good
like
stuff.
it's
Yeah.
almost like his bedroom chat, literally,
Right.
when it
Right.
comes to them, though. But I for me, I saw it more with Isaac, way, like the way he talks. As far as characters go, I would say that he is probably the most intriguing out of all of them,
Right.
because it's just literally him trying to find a purpose. And yes, he does very violent and bad things, but he comes to a realization, and for better or for worse, it's just a matter of how you accept it. I like where it stops at. Like I said before, I do see him returning, maybe as a villain. I would like to see him as a villain, but something has to kind of push him to that point, as I always say. But it's just, yeah, just how these characters just kind of grow and change over time. Even right now, the Trevor himself, the first time we see him, he's just this drunk, he's the last of the Bellman clan, and he doesn't care. And look, all of a sudden, he meets this girl, and, all of a sudden, he sees life differently, right? And, like, in the third and fourth season, they go through so much, and yet still, they just have that bond. And, yeah, I like that. Hector's arc, him and this idea of him not liking humans, and this thing about pets and all that kind of stuff, that how that comes together with that vampire girl, I'm forgetting her name. And even there's those moments with her, which at first, like in the third season, it's like, not really sure if I liking this, but watching it again, it's like, oh, okay, now I get it, right? Even right now to Camilla herself too, and I like the fact that her sister's like, you want to make night creatures, you want to kill humans, but we kind of need humans to survive, so you kind of contradicted yourself here. But I understand where Camilla comes from, why she does what she does, and even like the other two sisters, I forgot their names right now, the couple, even they and all make sense. We fight and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, the
going their
bigger
own way.
one, the tougher one. Well, one sec. The bigger one, the Russian sounding one.
She had a
sweet badass moment. Like,
yes,
to the point I'm like, that is
with his the armor.
Yeah, the armor,
The armor,
and I was like, this is on some NC-17 level type shit, though. But I am loving it.
That was hard.
That was hard.
Yeah, that was
but yeah, even where their story arc ended, or paused for a while, I dug that, because even like in season 3, they were like, well, you know what? You sure, Camilla, like, do the right thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It feels logical. And that's what I love about it. Like, characters go through a lot. Even the, who we might just see in like just a few episodes. Like his point, the captain, voiced by my boy Lance Reddick in season 3, who was doing that
right.
Jamaican accent. Even he and all had a point to it now. So yeah, overall, it's something that it took me a while to really get into, because I was just kind of a little on the fence with the, the bleakness of the show there. But over time, I started getting, I started understand what they're going for, and just the way how it wrapped up, I'm like, yeah, it just works. It totally works. So yeah, like I say, really, really dug this show. It took me a while for me to really click with everything, boy. But now I'm like, yeah, I can't recommend this enough, man. So, last words on the whole season. Sorry, the whole series as a whole, man.
Yeah. As I said, 8 out of 10. It was excellent for me overall. I just kind of
annoyed. I talk about the series, The series.
Oh, the series. No, yeah. All right, series as a whole. Only because this last season didn't wrap up the way I already kind of wanted it to, but still 9 out of 10 overall. Like, it's really, really well done. Just really fantastic production value. They have a good focus. They know what they're doing, and I just loved it for what it was. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, and last before we move on, the most amazing thing about this whole series, Jed, is that it's from a video game. It is not a manga that was adapted to anime or something like that, Jed. It's a freaking video game. This one quick thing. I don't know if it's Warren Ellis's decision, like creative decision, or if it's just people behind the scenes, but there's a decision to say, here's what. We're going to take this property, and we're gonna really flesh this world out, and not just the world, but the characters themselves, right? So we're gonna give you the video game action, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna give you the creepy monsters, all that kind of stuff, and the bosses, all that kind of stuff. We're gonna give you characters that you give a shit about, and just going back to Game of Thrones, even the villains, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna flesh them out so much that even when they do really bad things, you understand why. You can kind of like them or respect them, sense fit. So just that attention for video game material, it's just like wow, like wow.
For this franchise in particular, that is not particularly like that interesting, because the franchise was always like heavily derivative of dark fantasy anyway. It's like if somebody if somebody were to make a say a Zelda series, that wouldn't be like surprising. It'll be good because it have a ton of content with the Zelda franchise to build from there in terms of the storytelling there. It's kind of the
Right.
same thing with this, right? I was just not that surprised that it was impressive in that way. What is surprising is they actually nail it. That's the thing, right? They actually care
Yes.
to understand the material, make the effort, and not fuck it up. And I dug it. I was like, okay, they're pulling it off. They did it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I dug it for what it was. I can't be mad at any of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, people who harp on video game movies or just video game adaptations as a whole, yeah, the Castlevania exists. So please watch this. If you're a fan of like adult animation or anime or dark fantasy and whatnot, watch this. And yeah, not much more we could say. I mean, Castlevania is a great series. I mean, we could have gotten one more season, honestly. But I do like the fact that there is the possibility of a spin-off. And yeah, I just can't wait for a spin-off to, I just hope that one comes very,
Yeah.
very soon, man.
Yeah, because of the nature of the story, they could go all over the place with it. Like if because the whole point is that the Belmonts is a long lasting franchise family now. Like there's literal generations of the story going on. Dracula is immortal. The Belmonts they live their whole life sorting it out up until present day. Like that's the whole point of the story. Like this occurs in medieval times, but they could go to now. Like they could do anything with the material, given the nature of the franchise now. And I was like, yeah, I really just give these people some money and just let them write their story. Because the thing is, everybody and their mother does write a dark fantasy story, right? So
Yep.
all you have to do, sorry to say, this is how the world is work, right? You write a dark fantasy story, and then you slap a popular franchise name on it, and that's the story. And that's how you're going to get the money to pull off your story, right? That's how the world works. Sorry, right? That's basically kind of what it did with this. That's how I kind of interpret a lot of this, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's basically kind of what happened with this, right? They're getting like how much fantasy novels or sci-fi novels I have, and then the only way they're gonna get it done is you slap it into a Superman story or something like that. That is the trade-off for the world, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this was fantastic. It was just something that I really appreciated ultimately because people just took the effort to sort the bullshit out. That's the main point.
effort, effort. Yeah. And look, if Game of Thrones could have a spin-off, why not Castlevania, right? Why not?
Yeah,
Just see. Yeah.
Hey, this is Matthew Bailey, and I hope you've enjoyed this segment of the BS Beats and Bailey podcast. If you'd like to hear the full episode, hit up my link tree. On the other side of my head are 2 videos you can check out. Like this video if you like it, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell as well. Thanks for listening, and until the next one, take care, peace.